And then after recently they introduced this called DLR, discretionary leave to remain, which if you sometimes they give you 2 years and a half or they give you 2 years sometimes, and which that is also traumatizing, affect your mental well-being, because anytime you renewing the status you have to pay almost £3,000, 2,600, 700 grant. So it's like a business. You have to pay that to get 2 years and a half. So you have to renew 4 times. So every renewal you have to save. Let's say sometimes you have that 2 years and a half. During that you are studying, although you're not allowed to go to university with that 2 years and a half as well. And you look for job like NHS or whatever. If you have 2 years and a half, they don't employ you because they can't remember when it's expired. So they rather not to employ you to get into trouble in case they forgot and something happened, and then you struggle to have a job. The time you will have the job, it's time to renewal. Where is the money to do? Or let's say you have family. So you have 2-3 kids. So you calculate all of them, it's a lot of money. Of course. You end up to debt.
And Avi and I joined Chaco nearly a decade ago when it was just starting to take shape. And we've been involved ever since. Shall I say a bit about why we wanted to join it?
Yeah, it would be nice to.
So I think when we moved, we always wanted to be part of the community. Even back in Tel Aviv, where we're from, we were trying to set up a co-housing scheme, but the real estate situation in Tel Aviv made it really impossible. And so when we moved here, we very quickly started to look for a community to be kind of involved with. And we came across Chaco, and we thought it was going to happen sooner. And we really quickly became very involved, going to meetings regularly, taking responsibilities for the project, and getting to know the people who started it, or who were at the time all members of the same church. So it was quite a small kind of group of people who knew each other very well.
I'm Avi. I came. I'm a partner, and I started. My interest in co-housing or kind of living projects that involve living together started even before I met Yael. Well, a long time ago, I tried to establish several projects in Israel before I came here, and they didn't. I mean, it didn't kind of get into anything because it was too complicated, too hard. Not only because it wasn't in Tel Aviv, it wasn't in the middle of the city. Some of them were very far away, but it didn't. It didn't happen. And then when we moved here, again we moved here into a community which was kind of looked in a way natural because we're Jewish from Israel. It was in a way was supposed to be natural for us to be part of the Jewish community that lives in Leeds, but actually because we're not. First of all, because we are not practicing Jews, we're not interested in religion at all, and because our political stance, and because of cultural and other personal reasons, it wasn't our natural community. And in a way, we were looking for alternative community, something that will fit more to what we were. Not just because we speak the language or we have the same religion officially. And in a way, I think we found much more similarities with the people from Chaco on many aspects than with the people who were there. So it's, in a way, it was kind of attractive for us to be part of it. You know, we were looking forward to be part of something which is different. We tried other housing projects before. We started with Chaco, and I think that was the beginning. Yael was much more kind of dominant in pushing towards this thing, and I was kind of a bit dragging my legs behind her. But I was always also kind of I wanted to be part of it, and I think that's how we started.
Okay. Yeah. And I think one of the interesting thing about it was that when we first kind of joined, these people, I mean, we had like a really special relationship with them, because some of them, you know, we became friends with, but some of them, you know, the reason we had such a close relationship with them was because of Chaco. So it was a new way of making friends. You know, it wasn't about necessarily being very similar or very like-minded, but we had a project to work on together, and it kind of meant that we had commitment to each other. Like next door, now the house we live in now is part of the cooperative that is Chaco. So next door is also a co-op house. And when we joined, we had a really special relationship with them before we were friends. So we felt like, oh, let's have meals together once a week. Let's look after each other. Let's share, you know, some storage space. And we kind of found formal ways to kind of become community. And I think that was really special for me anyway, because coming from a different country, it was like a way to see this other culture very intimately without being super intimate with these people. You know, like they invited us for Christmas. Like I've never seen a Christmas meal before. So that was really special to me. You know, and all these things that you kind of learn how this culture works from a different perspective. I think that was very significant to me.
My name is Hawaba, and I'm originally from Guinea-Conakry. And I came to the UK 2007. And claimed asylum, and I've been sent to live in Leeds while I was waiting for my decision. So we stayed there for quite a long time before my decision made. It's about 6 years waiting, and as soon as I've been granted, then I have house through housing called Latch, which is in Chapeltown here. So while I'm staying on Latch property, but it's a private property, it's quite expensive a bit. And then someone, now a colleague I can say, working in Solace, and mentioned about Chaco to me. Said, oh, would you like, are you interested? I said, oh yes, why not? When she explained about Chaco to me, then I found out it's like, it reminded me in my home country, it's like a little village where people come together, that, you know, lending hand, helping, because you don't see those kind of things here. And even the way they build the houses, you know, you just open and you get in. You can make it's a little bit difficult to make friends, because there's no veranda, it's cold, because when you have veranda you sit outside. It's a way to connect. But as soon as you came, you just open your door to go inside. So you can stay with your neighbor here for a while, you can't even see each other. So it's a bit barrier there for connection. So when they explain Chaco, I said, oh, I'm interested. This is something like in my home country. So, and luckily when they gave me the number to contact was Ali and her husband. And they talked to me very nicely for the first time on the phone, really encouraging. And we are asking, where do I live? I said, I live in Grange Avenue. They said, oh, we live in Grange Avenue as well. Was like just 1 minute,
Neighbors.
yes,
Oh my God.
yeah, or 2 minutes away,
So it sounds like in that way there was like a similar feeling that you could kind of that in this process you've made friends and you've developed these connections prior to moving in, and that this kind of cultural differences.
Yeah.
You've been like learning about one another and connecting beforehand, and kind of like you said, becoming intimate without necessarily living with one another beforehand. So that sounds like quite a special.
When we came here, we didn't came as asylum seekers or refugees.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
But we came only with 4 suitcases.
Wow.
That's all. 4 people, 2 parents, 2 children, 4 suitcases.
Wow.
And we knew almost no one. Because I came from I came on the basis of a scholarship. I got a scholarship to learn peace studies at Bradford University. Okay. So because it was a scholarship, I had kind of a contact person that was supposed to kind of help me adapt and get this. But we didn't know anyone around. So it's a new country, and you kind of how do you make friends? How do you make friends for the children? How do you make friends for you? How do you and I think the cohousing is a way. That's why we were looking for a kind of a shared accommodate to live together with other people. For a way to get to know people a bit better and to get close to them and to learn the culture.
Yeah.
And I think this is something I hear from other migrants in co-housing as well, this narrative of, the English culture is quite, individualistic, and it's like based around the family very much. And, people coming from different cultures, they really seek this. And I think this is something, some Brits want as well. So, yeah.
I'm on Facebook groups of Israelis in the UK, and so many of them complain about the fact that the British are so cold and kind of they are your friends, but only to a certain level. They're just a very formal level kind of friends, but they always lack the relationship that can easily you can't pop into someone's house and hey, I'm here. It doesn't happen, so they're kind of frustrated. It's hard for them to live. And here, we have got, for example, we have neighbors that we can just easily knock on their door, or other members of the co-housing. It's quite. It makes.
It's a different intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Can you?
I think when you form the relationship in co-housing, there is an intention to be involved in other people's lives.
Yeah.
And I think that's a different starting point.
Like an openness as well.
Like you can't assume your neighbor's gonna want you in their house, but in co-housing you can kind of assume that to an extent.
Yeah. And in that process, then, just because I don't, like I was telling you before, like I know a little bit very broadly about the asylum seeking system towards refugees and what that means in terms of housing, or the housing that you get. So when you moved here, did you move between houses then in that process, in those years that you were waiting for the refugee status officially?
Oh yes.
How many places? Like what was that movement?
I lived during my asylum process. I lived in the nurse accommodation, like home office. I think it's 4. 1, 2, 3, 5.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
5. I've been moving
You
5
moved
times.
5.
Yes, but then when my fresh claim refused, and then I managed to get the section 4. But before that, I was sleeping one stop, like different houses. This one will keep me for a week or 2-3 days. Then we have to look for another person to keep me. Yeah, I was homeless. Yeah. And then but this organization helped me a lot. I always said Solace is my lifeline because
so they have house that was dedicated
they
to...
don't have house, but they have like connection where and then to cancel my mental health, because that time my mental health was not okay because I was going through all these difficulties. So I used to live in Hare Hills first, Noel Mount, and then Noel Place, Noel Terrace, and then Grange View, and then Moortown, and all the time moving is a nightmare. You have to park, and and you don't have choice.
And you don't have stability, right? It's like a constant
exactly, and you lose things. And I remember the other time they wanted to move me. See, Huddersfield. Yeah, to Huddersfield. I didn't want to because I've been living in Leeds. I have connection now, lots of friends, and I managed to go to college by private people paying my fee. As my document at the time, I'm not allowed to study, so I didn't want to lose that opportunity. And Solace helped me, and other different organizations as well helped me, supporting me for me to stay in Leeds rather than moving to Huddersfield where I don't know anyone, and so maybe the opportunities I have here, I will not have it there. So it was really, really stressful. And moving into a house with different culture, different background, different belief, and it's hard. And some of them they clean, some of them they don't clean. That little fight and old house. We had the mice and everything. Rejoice in our food, and one fridge. 6 people in the house, just one little fridge. Every day's fight. Oh, you don't even move my food. Oh, my food. Not enough space. And then I remember this company take over. They call G4S, and which the light is pay as you go, like you top up, and then you don't have the key to top up. They have the key, so they will come and top up. And then sometimes the top up will finish. So so when I meet Chaco, I was very happy. And when I get into Chaco, then I found out there's different culturally, that you can learn. People are friendly, caring. It remind me back home. It's like Chaco is like a little village,
I think it's really because co-housing takes forever to set up. It's really difficult to commit to something like that when your life is so chaotic and you don't know where you're going to be. And it just also, I think, just hard to find the headspace maybe to think about something so permanent when you just need to get by.
But and from the other perspective, so that's kind of as a refugee, right? Or an asylum seeker, but then also for groups that might be wanting to open up to asylum seekers. Like, how do you do that as a group if also co-housing takes so long, and there's also something like chaotic and unexpected and uncertain about that process too, right? And so then coming back to this question of you being, well, maybe if you can tell us, for the purpose of the video, what I know that I think Chaco is quite special in its allocation policy, and that you have these diversity targets. So if you can tell us more about that, why that was decided in that way, maybe like what was that process like to decide that that's what you wanted to do, that was a value, I suppose, in your group, and how that has played out, right? Like, so who are your members now? What's the kind of range of places that people come from?
I think this is about Chaco being more diverse than other communities, because we have people from,
all over,
yeah.
Yes, like we have English, We have Chinese. We have Black African.
Yeah.
We have like
Israeli.
it's really diverse.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then different country. Like in Africa, I think we have Guinea, which is me. We have Congo. And then we have West Indian, and we have
Polish.
Polish, yes.
And we have
We
a couple of people from India.
Yes, India.
Amazing.
And Neil was from Portugal. Right?
From Portugal,
Yeah.
exactly. We have quite diversity, which is good, great, yeah.
Yeah, incredibly diverse. Yeah.
And I think even for British people, we have like Black Caribbean people who are
Yes.
British, but they're
Well,
not British.
yes.
So it's not just
Sure.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's diverse even within the British population.
Exactly, yeah.
And how did that happen? Like, how does a group like yours come to that decision or end up being so diverse, right? Because it is not typical of, especially kind of co-housing. Right?
No,
in
but
this
it's really
country.
typical to Chapeltown because Chapeltown is really diverse. It's a diverse community and it's got a large Caribbean population in particular. It's like the biggest Caribbean community in Leeds. And I think when we joined Chaco, it was clear that we don't want Chaco to be like a bubble of whiteness in the middle of a very diverse community. So it was always diversity was always a value, and we didn't want people kind of parachuting into Chapeltown and gentrifying it. So we very early on decided that diversity is going to be one of our values.
Not only diversity, but also kind of locality. I mean, we were looking for people from the neighbourhood, not from outside.
So we gave priority. So one of our targets was to have 70% people from with the local connection.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah.
And can you tell me something about what's happening now then?
So I think so going back, I think when we started, it was really because it was this kind of core group of white British people who knew each other very well. Opening up was, a big leap.
It was a very long process.
Yeah.
It didn't happen immediately. It was a long and hard process.
Yeah.
And I think what we learned was because Bill and Ali, who are, a couple who lived here for decades and know the neighborhood really well and are very good at connecting with people, I think, aren't they? They're very good at creating this interpersonal link, and I think they worked really hard. They specifically, these two people worked really, really hard to reach out to people and don't give up on them. Just giving them another call, going to visit, just really making this connection to make people feel welcome. Because I think even when we leafleted several times throughout the entire neighborhood, like every door had a leaflet to make people understand that they're really, really, so when we say everyone welcome, we don't mean just white British people, we really mean everyone welcome. And making people understand that we really seriously mean that often meant that we had to speak to people individually. Because, when you send a general call, people are just going to make assumptions. That you don't mean to include them.
Just like Ali and Bill kind of helped you into the project. I mean,
they work hard. To be honest, they work hard.
Intensively kind of doing.
And because we had the targets as well, at first we had this table and Bill was obsessively looking at the table. Have we met our target for people on low income? Have we met our target for people with disabilities? Have we met our target for LGBT people? Have we met our target for people from Asian communities, from Black communities, Caribbeans? We were really constantly looking at the table, and I think we're doing pretty well.
So the diversity thing is also kind of opening you to. I mean, everything we said about the I think how close close community or the relationship you can build with people. I mean, it even intensifies when the community is diverse.
Of course.
Because you get to know. I mean, for example, for a certain period of time, we hosted here in our house one of the members of Chaco who hadn't
He was homeless.
He was homeless for us for a time, and a couple of months he was here with us. So, you know, he ate with us. He came from India, so we you know, we were exposed to things from his culture, to his cooking and eating.
We couldn't eat it though; it was too spicy.
Yeah. But, I mean, you know, so kind of you get to know people from all sorts of angles and you form different kind of relationships. Yeah.
It sounds very enriching, no? Because you all bring something unique, and you in your own culture, and you bring your own knowledge and histories, and kind of learn from one another, I suppose, no? And kind of and get a lot from the other, but also you're able to bring your own experiences.
I think it's a different type of listening, because when you're in a really diverse group, like Chaco is, you can't just assume you're on the same page on everything.
Yeah.
You really need to listen in a different way, because you can't make assumptions about nothing's taken for granted. And I think that's a really special way to communicate with people, because you really need to kind of
listen and respect.
listen in a different way.